of this. It was the season finale of that season show. Directed by Norberto Barba, starring Norman Reedus as Derek Lord, a rock star. Rock star Derek Lord goes on a national talk show and lectures about the abuse of psychiatric drugs. Meanwhile, an unstable young woman loses her virginity, goes off for prescribed medication, gets behind the wheel of a car, and mows down 10 people.
Ouch.
I'm not really a Law & Order fan. I've never seen another episode of any of the shows. This is my first time.
Oh, that's really too bad.
And I don't want to talk about the show too much because I just don't get it from a show structure standpoint. But this self-contained episode was meh.
This was a horrible episode.
Really?
This was, as far as this show goes, and as far as Law & Order goes in general, this episode was not good.
To me, it felt like the police procedural we get in Castle was a million times better than this.
Yeah.
And it should be the other way around, if you ask me.
The structure was not good. The whole point of this, special victims unit is to go beyond that normal police procedure and to take a special interest in the victims and to identify with them more and to be, their protectors and saviors, kind of thing. That's their whole point, right? This particular episode it seemed awkward and badly written and didn't make a lot of sense. And a lot of times the motivations of the main characters was not there. This was a horrible representation of this show in particular and Law & Order in general.
Right. See, it felt like it started sort of with one angle and then completely changed gears with this other Rockstar thing involving Norman Reedus.
The show does that. All Law & Orders do that.
Well, I know, because the first half is the investigation, the second half...
No, I mean, just not as a general structure that they follow, but they will do that occasionally. They will start off with a whole, the show's going to go in this direction, but sometimes they'll leap out of the formula and change directions halfway through.
Right, okay.
So that was not unexpected for me.
Well, they certainly did that in this case. Derek Lord, Norman Reedus, wasn't introduced until a good 20, 30 minutes into the hour-long show.
Yep.
And I thought he did a good job playing this Rockstar. We don't see him really in his Rockstar lifestyle. We see him in his, Rockstar Bono activist type lifestyle.
Right. And the second half of this episode was a lot better than the first half.
Yeah.
The first half, I was like, oh, I can't believe I gotta watch this. I would have turned it off. If it was on TV, I would have just said, screw it.
Yeah.
I'll move on to the next episode some other time.
All right.
And this is my least favorite of the three Law & Orders. Oh, actually, only two. No, there's three, but it's my least favorite.
So what did you think of Reedus as a campaigning Rockstar?
I think he fit that role rather well.
He looks the part.
He does look the part. I
That's
think he played the part well, and I think that he was correctly cast.
Accurately cast.
Accurately.
What more can you ask for, really?
Bono?
Yeah, no.
That'd be too much.
That'd be too much.
Bono was there.
Way
Like,
too
whoa,
distracting.
look at Bono. Maybe the edge. Just for fun.
Nobody would know who that is.
Well, you take his hat off and nobody would recognize him at all.
Yeah, because he'd be bald.
He'd be bald. What's that guy doing there?
Yeah, so I thought Norman did a good job here. He certainly was better in this than in Masters of Horror, in my opinion. Maybe because it was just a better role for him, but I think he did an okay job, and he kind of, at the end, I don't want to say got what was coming to him, but he had his mind opened a little bit as a character.
Right.
I like that. It worked for me.
Yeah, I like this particular one the least of all the four things we watched.
Okay, no, it's second from the least for me. Masters of Horror being worst. Finally, Dark Harbor. Why don't you introduce this one?
All right, so Dark Harbor is directed by...
Dark Harder. That's something different altogether.
Yeah, that's got the hedgehog in it for sure. All right, Adam Coleman Howard directing, starring Alan Rickman, Polly Walker, Norman Reedus as young man, doesn't even have a name.
Doesn't get a name.
Summary. A bickering couple drive fast through a downpour to catch the last ferry to their island retreat. In a flash, they recognize a crumpled body laying at the side of the road. After much argument, they stop, only to find the young boy battered and bruised. Are you kidding me? Did you write that?
No, I took all these descriptions from IMDb. Now, there might have been more to that one.
That's like the first 5 minutes of the film.
Okay, well, yeah, but anything more than that, you get into details that you might not want.
How about a bickering couple befriend a wayward young man and something, I don't know.
And hijinks ensues. Let me just start that we are going to spoil Dark Harbor, okay? To talk about this movie, you have to spoil it.
And we're going to spoil the snake in the mailbox at the end, right?
We are, for sure. To talk about it, you have to do that. So if you haven't seen Dark Harbor, I know all you Norman Reedus fans probably have, but if you haven't, maybe skip ahead in the podcast towards the end or simply just turn us off now.
Press pause, watch it, come back.
Or do that. That's even better, for sure.
Yeah. All right, welcome back.
Good. Now that you've done that, here's the deal with Dark Harbor. So as that description laid out, a couple finds this man on the side of the road. They kind of take him into their life a little bit. At least not what you think is on purpose, although in the end you find out that there was more to it than that. He doesn't leave. They spend a few days with him, and in the end, the wife of the couple kind of goes crazy a little bit, and they end up, the husband and the young man, faking her suicide and getting him out of the picture. Her out of the picture, so that Alan Rickman, his character, and Norman Reedus' character can continue their gay love affair.
Why does it have to be gay? Why do you put gay in it? Just love affair.
They're two men, and they're gay.
That's right.
So
I just don't think you need to qualify.
Well, I don't think it's inaccurate to do so.
No, okay, all right, whatever.
So this movie, for me, I'm going to say, started kind of slow.
Yep.
It was a very kind of moody, brooding type movie. There were very few happy moments in this film, and by the sort of midway point, I was starting to get a little bored with it.
Yeah, I was waiting for something to happen.
Not a lot happens. They end up going to their retreat, and they're just kind of there, and they're just sort of doing their thing. And Norman Reedus as young man, which, I learned on another podcast that when you're playing a character that has no actual name, it's usually not a very good role. Right. But in this case, it was a big role. It was a very important role, but he doesn't have a name.
Right.
So anyways, yeah, halfway through the movie, nothing really has happened. I'm like, come on, something better happen. I'm starting to lose faith in this story.
Yep.
By the end, and certainly when the twist at the end is revealed, I was completely on board with it. I started to think back about everything we saw in the film, and it kind of fell into place for me a little bit.
Now, my only problem is, what happens if what would have happened if the wife didn't spot Norman Reedus lying on the side of the road and made her husband stop? Everything kind of hinged on that.
It did, but that's an easy thing to get around if this was real life. If she didn't happen to see him there, if the lightning hadn't have crashed right at the right moment, Alan Rickman just says, I think I saw something back there. They go back and sure enough, there's a guy lying on the side of the road.
Or he could have just, I guess, because they see him, they bring him to the nearest thing, and then they forget about him, and then he just kind of shows up later on some island that they happen to crash on. Why not just introduce him there?
Well,
I mean, from a plot point of view, it makes kind of a lot of sense. From a conspiracy to commit murder point of view, that seems like a more solid way to introduce somebody.
No, you're right.
I crashed on a boat. I happen to be camping here. I'm sorry that you hit me with a stick, a flaming stick.
Yeah, stick on fire too. No, you're right. I mean, I suppose it could have been easier, but it's kind of, I see that as a minor thing in the grand scheme of this film. I mean, the point is they find him. He's stuck with them in their island, and the true nature of what's going on is the most important thing.
Right. Now, I thought the fact that he was a poet but didn't know how to write. Did I get that right?
Well, that was part of the ruse.
No, that's what I'm saying. That was a good thing. Mm-hmm. But did I understand that correctly? That he was a poet, but he did not know how to write.
A bit of a poet, not like a published poet, not a guy who makes his living as a poet. He's just someone who comes up with stuff, I guess poems, and yeah, he can't write them down. He needs someone else to write them. He said they're my words, but someone else's handwriting.
See, I thought that was clever.
It's extremely clever.
And then he has all these pieces of paper in other people's handwriting with very, very dark, prose or poetry, and he thinks of one that he wants to ask her to write down for him.
That's right. And she signs, and he gets her to sign her name on it, and it becomes her suicide note.
It's perfect. I thought that was great.
It was really good, and the whole mushroom thing too actually worked really well.
Yep.
Mushroom picking is familiar to me because I have Eastern European relatives, and they all mushroom pick. And to see it in the movie, I thought it was sort of funny at first. But then when you realize they're sitting there and they have 2 mushrooms, and one of them is safe to eat, and one will kill you in a minute, he finds out from the wife. Obviously, Alan Rickman knew that she was a mushroom aficionado and would maybe go out with him mushroom picking. To find that out, and then in the end, he essentially tricks her into eating the wrong one.
Or forces her.
Well, yeah, I guess so.
They didn't show it.
They didn't show it, but they show it sort of come to her mouth, and then they cut the black.
Right.
And it was in a moment of passion between them too, right? She broke down, and they were getting it on a bit in the woods, and he brings the mushroom down. I think she bites it, not knowing which one it is, because she trusts him at that point.
Stupid.
Yeah, don't trust a miscellaneous dude that's in your house.
Yeah, don't trust anybody you've been hanging out with for a couple of days that still hasn't told you his name.
That's true too.
I think I might make a rule.
Yeah,
that's a rule.
Yeah, don't trust anyone whose name you don't know
And doesn't know how to write.
So, I thought this was, like I said, it started slow, but I ended up really liking this movie by the end.
It was very, it was slow, but very deliberately paced.
Deliberate. The story was it seemed to me once it is all revealed, it really seems like it's been thought out well.
Right.
What I mean. And I thought Norman Reedus was pretty good in this.
I thought so too.
You know, as a young, dirty kind of mystery man.
Yeah. Once I found out that once they revealed that the money was all hers, I thought that Rickman was going to die.
Oh yeah. I don't know. You know what else I noticed? When Norman Reedus comes back at the very end, did you notice how different he looked?
He was very clean shaven and very he looked a lot different.
He was very feminine looking even a little bit.
So?
They really smoothed out his skin with makeup and sculpted his eyebrows really, really well, but really in a sort of feminine touch.
No, I didn't catch that.
No, you should see it. I mean, he walks up and he has a hood on. You don't see him at first, and then him and Alan Rickman kiss, and the camera spins around. It's him, but really, really different than we've seen him throughout the rest of the movie. And you know, he did well. Like I said, it sort of bugged me at the beginning, but once it was all revealed, I really, really enjoyed it. Thought Norman Reedus did a great job.
Right. I thought it was going to be more like a dead calm kind of thing. You know, they're stranded on an island instead of a boat. There's this guy that just kind of shows up, and I thought that there was going to be some have to struggle together against this guy that is on a murderous, creepy rage.
Creepy rampage.
But it turned into something different, which was good because I like it when unexpected things happen.
Which, yeah, for sure. I mean, one of the keys to a good sort of, I hesitate to call this a murder mystery, but a movie where there's a twist at the end, and this applies to murder mysteries, is that the best ones allow you or provide you enough information before the reveal happens at the end to come to the conclusion yourself.
Right.
And this movie, to be honest, I think it would be tricky to do that.
It would.
But I also think that it is possible. I think that they gave you enough to come up with, what was revealed.
I like it when they give you the reveal at the end, the twist at the end. It forces you to go back and reevaluate everything you've seen in the last 2 hours.
By showing you flashback clips?
No, just by that one little thing, that little twist where they end up being lovers at the end. You're like, whoa, okay, now I have to go back and reevaluate every choice they made and put it in this new using this new perspective. I like when they do that.
And this movie did that, I think.
It did rather well, actually.
Yep, I was a bit surprised. So if you haven't seen Dark Harbor, it's from 1998, directed by Adam Coleman Howard, go check it out. Norman Reedus fans. Norman Reedus fans probably already seen it. And if you have any thoughts, why don't you send us an email or give us a call? In fact, if you have any comments on any of Norman Reedus's past work, particularly the things we've watched, give us a call. Let us know. We will play your comments on a future episode.
Are we going to announce who we're doing for next time?
We should do that too.
Our spotlight's going to be on Sarah Wayne Callies.
She, of course, plays Lori Grimes on the program. We are going to watch 2 episodes of Prison Break. But most excitingly, we're going to watch the first and the last episode of Prison Break.
Yeah, the last episode is kind of a combo episode. It's episodes 23 and 24 from season 4.
So the first one is the pilot from season 1. And yeah, as you said, 23 and 24 called The Old Ball and Chain and Free.
This is going to be good because I saw the first season. I've seen the first season of the show. You haven't seen anything.
Nothing.
So you're going to watch the first episode and get an idea of what's going on. And then you're going to watch the last episode and have no idea what's going on, but see how it all concludes.
Maybe I'll watch the last one and then the first one.
Oh boy, you're just blowing my mind here.
Yeah, I don't think I'll do that.
It's going to be fun.
So that will be fun. We're also going to watch the Celestine Prophecy movie from 2006 and a movie from 2007 called Whisper.
Yes.
We tried to go back to Sarah Wayne Callies' really early catalog, but some of that stuff is pretty hard to come by.
Yeah.
Some not available on Netflix, at least in Canada, or iTunes, or other avenues. So this is what we've got, but I think it's going to be great anyways.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this one.
If you would like to contact us, please do so at 1-866-483-ZOMB. That is 1-866-483-9662. That is our voicemail line. You can send any comments or questions to that. You can find us on Twitter at Talking Dead, Facebook.com/TheTalkingDead, or good old-fashioned reliable email at TalkingDeadPodcast@gmail.com. Those are all the ways to contact us. Please send your comments and questions, and we'll get them on the air if we can.
Yeah.
So Sarah Wayne Callies is our next spotlight in 2 weeks. Watch those four things if you want, and send your comments about that too. That would be fantastic. A big thanks to Audible, our sponsor this week. If you want to get a free audiobook download, go to audibletrial.com/talkingdead. And I should also remember this week to mention Stranger, our friend Dave's zombie webcomic that you can find online. He's been on the show a few times, not for a while. We'll have to get him on soon.
Dave, watch these things and come on the episode next week.
Absolutely. That's a great idea. It would be great to have him back on. So if you want
2 weeks.
Yeah, in 2 weeks. If you want to see what he is doing, though, it's called Stranger. It is at iheartunicorns2.com. That's TOO for 2.
As well.
Yeah, that's right. And he's got the whole first issue of his zombie webcomic up there. He's going to be at Fan Expo in Toronto later this summer, so we'll make sure we keep you posted on that, and we'll have lots of good stuff to give away, I think. Although I don't want to promise anything because I'm not sure 100% of his plans. So
No promises.
when he's on, we'll let him do that. So thanks everybody for listening. We will be back in 2 weeks with episode number 49, and then the big 50 in a month. So that'll be exciting.
It'll be over the hill.
I know. What are we going to do then? We'll have to come up with something exciting.
Sure.
All right. Thanks everybody. We will see you in a couple weeks.
Bye.